Hey guys, welcome back to Just Miss Nelson podcast. So we is gonna be talking about some deep trauma that went on with somebody with George. I can't say the last name, so I don't know how to say the last name. I'm not gonna try to say it because I do be messing up people's name. If I be looking cross-eyed, I am looking at the beauty monitor over there. It is like a little behind, so I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna listen to the Theresa Roemer. I can't even say her last name. Theresa podcast. She is the lady with the world's biggest closet in Houston, Texas. I think she live in the Woodlands, so I don't know. But Texas, Houston, Texas, girl. But yeah, we gonna listen to the Unhinged podcast that she got right there, as y'all can see. I'll be putting it right here, screenshotting and putting it right here while we listening to it. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and baby girl, let's get into it. Okay, so y'all, let's get into the Unhinged podcast with Theresa Roemer and George. So let's get into it, girl. If we get copyrighted, I don't know what to do if we get copyrighted. We filmed this whole video, we get copyrighted. I don't know, but let's get into it. Let's go ahead and click play.
Welcome to Unhinged with your host, Theresa Roemer, motivational speaker, fashion expert, and fashion guru.
Hello and welcome to Unhinged in the Closet with yours famously, Theresa Roemer. Today we have an amazing guest. You are going to be blown away with his story. We are so incredibly pleased.
Now, let me tell y'all, I'm going to be stopping this video and then doing it again, but let me tell y'all, I was fully blown away. I never listened to like Theresa old podcast, Conversations in the Closet, but yeah, you will be blown away by this story. So, let's finish. This story is 36 minutes. Yeah, 36 minutes for this story. So let's get into it.
Just beyond words that we have George Rojas from Amari Magazine out of LA.
George Rojas. Yeah, did I say it right? If he watching this podcast, comment down below if I'm saying your name right. George Rojas. Just let me know in the comments if you're watching this video.
They are launching Amari Magazine Texas in the next few months.
Yeah.
And we just, not only the story with Amari Magazine, but you have such an incredible backstory that so many people don't know about you.
Where do we start?
Where do we start?
Yeah, right?
From birth?
Seriously, like...
So, what I love about George's story resonates with me because instead of becoming a victim, he became a victor. And you know me, and you know my backstory, and you know everything about me, and everything from...
So listen, y'all also know my backstory with child abuse. I was molested by my daddy at 6 years old. I made a whole dedicated video about it. So I will put it down below, the link to that video that I did about me being molested by my daddy. So yeah, so y'all can know my story, what I went through as a child at 6 years old. So yeah.
Child abuse to sexual abuse by my grandfather to abuse from my mother. You know, you guys know my story. Abuse from my first husband, almost killed me in the closet. So, you all know my story, and you think it's compelling. Wait till you hear his story. So
We're going in.
that's what it's all about, being unhinged, because we don't hold back.
Unapologetically.
We're unapologetic, and you just
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
And help others.
Because just when you think your story is the worst, you find somebody that even has a worse story. And I always thought my story was the worst, but wait until you hear his. Like, we go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we do. And just thank you so much for allowing me to share. Whoever's listening, know that you could either, again, like Theresa, play the victim or the victor. You turn your pain into your pain into your power, into your purpose, and just keep moving forward, because it just get better.
Yeah.
You take control of that, just get better.
So at what point in your life, I'm not assuming you grew up in a bad family.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Unfortunately, there were rapists, murderers, a lot of incest, and I'm freely to speak about it now, but at the moment you just don't know that as a child, because you've been thinking this was normal.
So you're born in Mexico or born in the United States?
No, I'm from Puerto Rico.
So sorry.
In LA,
Okay.
LA, raised in Downey, and
So you were
family
just
went to
brought
church.
but you were brought up in an environment of...
My mother was 16. Unfortunately, not to put too much, but she was raped, and she was forced to get married at that time. You either, stay with the family. You actually have no choice. My grandmother said you have to get married.
Yeah.
She was, got married to my dad. He was 19, who was very abusive, and I already had a lot of trauma. As we know, I don't think mental health was really talked about back then, and you kind of dealt with it in their way, brush it under the rug. So, and I was the firstborn on both sides of the family, and we had a grandmother who would say she was like Queen Elizabeth, and they did everything to protect her.
Right.
So, I got a grandma like that. Honey, she do think she Queen Elizabeth sometimes. She did anything and said anything to protect her son from my accusation. This girl, cause she know what her son did to me at a young age, at 6 years old. Girl, she know what she knew. Yeah, she knew. Let's get on to this podcast before I get mad, girl.
Hide the family secrets no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Don't disgrace us.
Father's side came down from Costa Rica, mother's side came down from Puerto Rico, and it ended up, he had 6 brothers and sisters, and he was just my mother. So her siblings were a little younger, and the family took half of it, took it back to PR. So she was kind of found like a family. I thought these are friends, but it ended up being, she got into the worst family that you can think of, very narcissistic. So the curse of the family was a lot of incest. Yeah. My grandfather, who fortunately slept with his children, and my grandmother, who didn't do anything, and it kind of led into me being, young, vulnerable, and my uncles. Unfortunately, I was molested and raped by 13 different men in my family.
And you just thought it was normal.
I knew something was wrong.
This is what life is supposed to be.
I was already suicidal at 6 years old. I would cut myself.
Y'all, 13 different men. He was raped by 13 different men. Y'all know we keep it real on this story, on this channel. 13 different men. You know it running in the family. You got to be the one that break the generation curse that your family got. And that do lead into I don't know how to put it for YouTube. I reckon it ended to like drug abuse, cutting yourself. That's what he about to talk about right now. Drug abuse, cutting himself, suicide, unaliving yourself. Suicide is unaliving yourself, but yeah.
And the schools and my mother didn't know what's going on, talking. I would stay quiet because I was told if I said anything, no one would believe me, no one would love me, and they would take me away from my
That's
mother.
what your uncles were saying.
Yes, uncle and grandfather.
At age 6.
Yes, so I was learned to just stay quiet and
Do
tolerant.
you remember the first time you were ever molested?
Yeah.
Like what age?
6.
First time.
Before going to school, everybody left the house. It was a beautiful house. They had, they were well off. And my...
Now, y'all, this what about to get deep at. I want to advise your children to listen to this video or whatever, but it is about to get deep right now. So I just giving y'all a warning. It is about to get deep and graphic. So yeah, just telling y'all right now. If we're in the children watching, please click off this video. And listen, if you got a story to tell, y'all come to me. We can do a whole video. Sit down, we can do a podcast, and you can tell your story. So yeah, just come to me, and we will sit down, make a whole video of y'all telling y'all story and what y'all went through as a child, or if you're a child. Get some help, tell somebody, because I did not tell nobody what I was going through. So I just want y'all to open up to if your mama don't believe it, open up to at least somebody to listen to y'all. And to get some help if you being molested or touched by a family member. Let somebody know. I just want y'all to let somebody know if you been touched or molested by a family member or anybody. If they tell you, if they threaten you, still tell it. Don't hold it in. If you hold it in, it will lead to a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm getting emotional right now, just talking about it and telling y'all about it. So just finish listening to the story.
A grandfather had just stepped in and he was yelling my name. One of my nickname grade was Titi. So he's yelling and I already felt something weird. So I was hiding under the table. And he grabbed me, took me out, took me to the living room. The windows, it was big windows, just like this open. And he put me on my knees and explained to me what I was going to do. Took it out and put it in my mouth and forced it all the way. And I blacked out. So I blacked out that whole day.
And you're 6?
Yeah, 6. And then my aunt came on, she was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? And then she went to her father, ¿Qué hiciste? Which means, what did you do? What did you do? They already knew it was him. But nobody did nothing. So it carried on. I had my uncle, godfather, who would walk in on his father doing it. Nobody protected me. Nobody did nothing. But he would say, I love you so much.
Just the fact that a family will walk in, why that's all that's going on is very sad, and you will feel like, oh, nobody loves me, or nobody this, nobody that. Yeah, you will feel like that. You will, because George, I am sorry that you went through this as a child, because I had to deal with the same thing, and I had to go through this. I had to go through the same thing. You went through this with 13 different men in your family. I had to just go with my daddy molesting me and my cousin molesting me. I never said that about my cousin, because we're not gonna get, that's a whole nother different video. I mean, talking about my cousin molesting me too. I just talked about my daddy because that was the hardest thing I had to go through as a 6-year-old child. Yeah. Let's get on video.
I'm so sorry, I can't do nothing, because they were scared of my other uncle, my father. So at the age of, this is where I start to realize something's not right. So as I got older, and I was into women and men. So that was the thing. I felt like I did like to have women. I was, attracted to women, went on dates, had girlfriends, and so, but the other side was more, I was already comfortable. I was already, it was normal.
Yeah.
So I grew this attraction to men, and especially older men. So that's when even in junior high, I was with the principal. I was with the vice principal, married with wives and kids, and they follow me on social media, which is like, what are you doing? But
So I can see where he coming from with the teachers. Y'all know I had a gym coach, married with kids, and a wife, and I was just this little middle schooler. Yeah, I was just this little middle schooler, just getting dick from a basketball coach girl. But still, that's not acceptable, cause you was a child and he was a grown man with a wife and kids. So yeah.
It's sad because it wasn't really, I feel like the justice for molestation, the statute of limitations, it only goes so far, so it didn't really protect me. But I remember being in school, I think it was 13, and I was in 8th grade, and I was in a class, and I was sitting there crying and just angry, and one of the teachers, Mrs. Soto, she came to me, and she leaned in, and she goes, I need to ask you something.
Okay, here you go with the teacher thing, right? So I had this one teacher in middle school. I ain't saying no name. It was just one teacher in the middle school that I told her everything that was going on. I was crying and everything else. Told her everything. She gonna call my daddy, right? So she called my daddy and told him what was going on, what I was talking about, this and that. They said that's part of my disability. Like, a disability? They were y'all blaming the stuff on disability. I was lying because I got a disability. What? Like, what? I was lying because I got a disability? How you explain that? Okay. So, I never told this teacher, now other teacher, what was going on with me. So I just kept it all in because ain't nobody believe me. So, yeah.
And the other teachers and the students recognized something. She goes, I need to ask you something. I'm going to share something with you. My father did this to me, touched me, and I didn't want to let him, but he did it. Is this happening? And I couldn't answer, and I was just like, I had burrs and just crying, and finally I screamed yes, and I just broke down and started throwing things. I was so angry. That day, the police came, did a full investigation, had to write a statement. They raided 8 different family houses. My father paid for the plane tickets for my uncle, grandfathers, and all the members to flee the country. They went back to Costa Rica with other aliases, and the aunts and everyone turned against me and saying that I wanted it, the one that I was looking for it, I allowed it, that it wasn't true. So all my aunts who were supposed to say, I love you, you're my firstborn nephew, all of...
So that was a problem. When I first came out with the video, like 2 or 3 years ago, so like my uncle, none of my family believed it, whatever. I believe they still don't believe it. I don't know. I would have just kind of like swept it under the rug. Yeah, Nelson made a video. Yeah. It probably was a lie. It probably was this. It probably was that. So, yeah, we're not going to believe it. Swept it under the rug. Kept on going. And to this day right here, they still do the same thing. Like my grandma, when I had my car, yeah, she used me to go to the stores and go this and go there. Yeah, she still talk to me. She still talk to me. And she still say the L word to me. I heart you. She still say that. I don't say it back because when I was getting, how you supposed to say it on YouTube? So when I was getting molested by my daddy, he used to say, "Oh, you say I heart you. You say I heart you. Whatever." But that what made me not to say the L word. If I say the L word, it sounds kind of weird, but yeah, to the people that watch me on this YouTube, I say, yeah, I always say, love you, bye. I always say that. They don't think nothing else about it. But when I say it to a family member, they say, oh, what you up to? What you did, Nelson? What you up to, Nelson? Yeah. Because they know when I say that, I'm up to something. But yeah, let's get back into it.
Them turned against me so quickly, and I ended up being the black sheep, which, you know, already by then I was already doing drugs and found love on the streets, and that's the beginning of that story.
So we go from sexual abuse with the family members to drugs.
I already had started weed and a little bit of speed. At that time, speed was really big.
And you found
it
the
was
drugs.
numbing.
I was gonna say you found the drugs to be numbing.
Oh, it
helped to numb.
It was the
pain.
rush, numbing, and I just didn't want to deal with it. And it got so good to the.
Yeah, I was sitting here. I was like, "What is speed?" Until he said it. I didn't know what speed was. That must was back in the days. Well, I didn't even know what speed was. This is my first time hearing about a speed of that type of drug called speed. But yeah.
Point where by the age of 13, I already knew how to sell drugs, cook drugs, and make my money, and learn how to run the streets.
So by now you're 13, you're making drugs, selling drugs, on drugs, and we're going down another deep.
Going to jail already at 13.
That first time in jail.
Started learning how to steal through the malls, and then get bigger. And then I robbed a Daniel jewelry store, and I remember like it was yesterday. They caught us outside with another. She was 12 and I was 13, and it threw me against the wall, and I was just laughing. And I was, you think this is funny? And they just put my face harder on the wall, and I was like,
the cops.
Yeah, I go, I think it's funny. They're like, oh, you're slick. How long you've been doing this for a while? I said, it's not your job to find out. I was a very smart ass. I was very quick. If you know me, I'm quick on my words and my tongue. So they threw me in there, and they kept me a little longer than I should without contacting my parent. And I remember the first time I saw a Snicker bar, and I wanted a Snicker bar, and he goes, you want that? Yeah. And he goes, go ahead and get it. Boom! He kicks me down, punches me in the face.
Who did this?
Officer, he goes, you're gonna be in here. You are a loser. You're gonna be in here. This is your life. This is what you're gonna. And I just stood quiet. And so at that time, you already felt defeated. After what I just experienced with my family, the ones that are supposed to protect me. Yeah. Now the law's not protecting me. I didn't get justice because they fled the country because they didn't do their investigation right. Nobody cares about me. Yeah. Nobody loves me.
Isn't that such a hopeless feeling?
So
as a child,
I learned to find drugs, sex, started going to West Hollywood at 13 already in the scene.
You're kind of on your own now.
Oh, yeah. And my mom's...
Now, how I cope with my stuff through, I was doing makeup to like not think about stuff that what I was going through. as a child holding it all in, I was doing makeup. So that's how I got so good with my makeup. And then I started dancing. And from that dancing, I started working at a strip club in Florida. I had a friend that used to come pick me up. And we used to go to the strip club. I used to tuck real good. And you got to get up on the pole, splits, flips, turn. Yeah, climb the pole, all that. So, and I used to have sex with different men in the car. Yeah, I used to have different sex with different men in the car. That's how I met my ex boyfriend James. That's how I met him, through the strip club and online. So first we met at the strip club, and then we had sex in the car, and then somehow I never went back because there was a lot of stuff going on in the club, so I never went back. So that way he found me online, and we started talking, we started going together. He was a ex-luminacity. That's how I'm gonna say it, ex-luminacity. If y'all don't know what that means, don't look it up because it ain't no word. Ex-luminacity. Well, I don't think he know. I think he's still in there, but I'm not saying no luminosity online. Not on my YouTube channel. They might want to come for me next, bitch. So yeah, so that's how I found how to cope with my trauma that I went through as a child, through sex, through strip clubs, having sex in the strip clubs, through makeup, dancing, yeah. And fighting. And bitch, I used to fight all the time. Fighting. Okay, it was fighting. Then I got into dancing, the strip club, makeup. Yeah. That's how I got through all, get out my head and start thinking about stuff and start holding stuff in. I used to take my anger out into, dropping into splits, jumping into death drops, jumping on chairs into death drops. That's how I messed up my hip and my back. Now I don't dance no more, so I don't dance now. I make money moves. Yeah. That's how I used to make money too. I made almost $1,000 in one go, with blowjobs in the car, anal in the car. So that's how I used to make my money. Yeah, and then I started YouTube. I started YouTube with y'all. So this kind of get my mind off stuff. So I know I got a family. I built up a family online, on YouTube. YouTube is my heart and my soul. I used to have this Instagram. I had 10,000 people on there, but I lost it. They deleted me. So yeah, this is where I'm at now. My love for my YouTube channel. So let's get back into the video, to the podcast.
She did her very best. She had to survive. She got her master's degree, human resources, came down from Puerto Rico, didn't know English, learned English. She got her degree in human resources, was working. But this is where it gets interesting. So unfortunately, because, she has a life too, and she eventually married the wrong guys because her husbands as well, 2 out of the 5 I was having intercourse and sex with, and she found out later. She had no idea. I would have came to her, but I just didn't want to destroy her even more. She's such a hard.
So were these men
my brothers
coming to you?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that she's marrying?
Yeah, there was something about me, I don't know what it was, or I don't know if it was energy, or they see vulnerability, or something.
But you think it's normal because all of your uncles did it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like,
I started, I'll be honest, I started to enjoy that chase. As you get promiscuous. Mm-hmm. Now, I've been doing it, ejaculating since I was 9 years old. Why would I even know these things? Getting in trouble in school for sexual harassment. Nobody caught the red flags. Nobody did anything because in the schools, in the city, I love Downey, but Downey's the city. Let's keep the city clean. Mm-hmm. Let's not let anybody find out because the moment this gets out, there goes your reputation for the city.
Yeah, nobody wants to live there.
Exactly.
Right.
So they got away with the law. This played out for many years. And
so now you're in and out of jail.
fell in love with it because it was like a vacation. The moment I got, no, it was. Like, the moment I got in, I had, to be honest, my cocaine. I had my king size bed. They would put the bunk beds together. I had my little fun mates. My pen pal, whatever. It became so easy. Every time I went in, they knew my name, read the file. The people that I organized with, that I was working with in on organized crime, and it got easier and easier. It just kind of felt normal. It felt normal. It was my new normal. I found love through the streets, making money, doing what I gotta do. And unfortunately, you know, there was only so much that my mother could do, because she also had my sister who was getting involved, followed in my footsteps, and a younger little brother that she was trying to do different. But everywhere we went, I found where I got kicked out of 7 different high schools. Like, I didn't stay long enough.
Did you ever graduate from high school?
No. The last school I went to, when I was busted in Selmar, I tried to judge. For some reason, I just couldn't, because of the childhood, I couldn't focus.
Right.
So I don't know if it was ADHD, whatever. I never got really diagnosed. All I know is I couldn't focus from the trauma. So, but I was always like intelligent and quick with it. The teachers always noticed, you're so fast.
Yeah.
You're a leader. The kids follow you. They're drawn to you. Like, people listen to you.
Yeah.
So I always had that gift. But no, I didn't get the education.
So now you're coming on 18?
Let's say 16.
16, in and out of jail.
16 was my first overdose. That was my 3rd day of school in Artesia. Walk in, and I told mom I wasn't feeling good. She says, no, you're going to school. You need to go to school. You just got into school. So I go, okay. First, when I was sweating, I go to school, and I collapsed in front of everybody. My sister, my tongue was out, I was foaming. I was crippled. I couldn't move. I could hear everything that was going on, but it was the most out-of-body experience.
You were overdosing?
I overdosed, yeah. I was out for 2 weeks. I did too much cocaine, speed at 16. My body couldn't take it. I was so angry. I was so angry. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. Nobody taught me. The counselors, you know, they put me in the mental.
Let me tell y'all, these days, you can't too much control your emotions, because people don't believe you. They'll think you crazy. They'll try to put you in a crazy institution or something. So I think that's what he's about to say. Like, now let me see.
Institution.
Yeah.
And I went, and I ended up getting beat up, and then they had to let me go, and otherwise we had a lawsuit. But no, there was no anything. So I was in that hospital, woke up, and had my outer body experience with God, and he told me, I need you to go down. You're not ready. And I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, I woke up with tubes, and I went right when I went home, I went straight to the pipe, and it was
I can't believe I just did it.
Overdose at 18, overdose at 19. I got involved with learning how to do organized crime with, you know, showing the older homies how to, make money.
Yeah.
And how to survive on the streets.
So now you're in with the drug cartels.
Mm-hmm. That was a whole...
George and the cartels. Oh. Let's listen.
Other ball game.
And that's way...
But see, I'll be honest. I was the guy, even though I was gay, you fuck with me, you're fucking with the wrong person, because I'm not going to allow you to, it's either you die, or you fight, or, you got to fight your way out.
But what's so interesting?
Okay. If you in a game or something, you either fight, you either die, you either get beat and get killed, you either get shot, I don't say all the things that added up, girl. You get beat, you get killed, or you just, people trying to find you. So, yeah, my camera won't even focus because I keep moving. See, look, it focused on my hand now. I don't like this camera, y'all. Look at it. Well, anyway, come on. Let's get back into it.
Is the George I know.
Yes.
I can't even fathom that George.
I know.
I'm like, where's that George? I don't see him.
I have to put that away.
But when you spend time with George and you get to know George, I can see it, like in your eyes. I can see it.
Now, when I share this, I'm about to do this podcast. I'm about to do this podcast, reacting to this video. So I did a little story and I tagged George and Theresa in it. George shared it and he followed me back. He followed me on Instagram. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I like me some George. Yeah. Oh. But it's kind of up my speed with the magazines and stuff, because my dream is to be a fashion model on the magazine. On a magazine. Not a magazine, on a bunch of magazines. I want to be on a couple of Vogue. I want to be on Miss Georgia, Miss somebody girl on a magazine. The America's Next Top Model, Vanessa Chrisley girl. But anyway, let's get into it.
And somebody that's been in that pain myself, you pick up on it. You see it in somebody else's eyes. You relate.
Yeah.
You're like, We always joke because we could like be brother and sister. Our stories are so similar. I mean, I don't have a rap sheet. But I mean, the abuse and everything. I mean, like you can just relate, and you can tap into somebody's eyes, because you know the windows are the eyes, or the eyes are the windows to our soul, and when you have something like that in common, you can pick up on it. So now. Rap sheet, long as hell, overdosed 4 different times, drug cartel.
19, stabbed in the head. We had just...
In jail or out on the streets?
No, I was on the streets over to go.
Y'all, he said he was stabbed in the head on the streets.
Have a little fun, and got out in an area where I thought it was my family, where I thought they were my family. Mm-hmm. Walked out. And then I already had a bad feeling. My intuition, every time something happened, I already knew it was going to happen, but I still played with fire. So I was like, okay. So I saw the black Escalade tinted windows, and I was like, this is it. So I was walking through Holy Family Church, and as I was walking in, within seconds, boom, back of my head, they all rushed. I felt the coldness, and the blood just gushing through the front of my face.
So...
Oh, wow.
You're down.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know who did this to you?
Oh, no. They had...
Do you know why they did it to you? I'm sure it was all drug cartel related.
Yes.
Okay, so...
I knew they took everything I had that day, which I had quite a few money, a lot of drugs, and give it to them.
So they
I was on my knees, they ripped it, they knew. Because there's no way.
Yeah.
This is how I put 2 and 2 together, but it gets better. So at the end, when they broke my nose, stabbed me on the side, broke my ribs, ripped my clothes off, head to toe, it looked like the movie Carrie. It really, you could feel the pressure. My eyes it was blurry, and I remember laying on my knees. My mother was 9 months pregnant with my youngest brother, and I just prayed, like, God, forgive me for everything I've done. If this is my time, please protect my family, my brother, and let them know that I've always loved them. And it was just ugly, and then they stopped. The guy couldn't pull the gun. And then within the second, happened so quick, within seconds they were gone. And I was just dazed looking around and trying to get my thoughts together. I'm disoriented and everything. So I walked to the person who I was supposed to meet. He didn't answer the door.
Oh.
He was supposed to be my friend for years.
Yeah.
You can't come in. We can't let you in. I walked to my other friend who he was family. They're very, very known big family cartel. And I was like, Daniel, I can't let you in. I walked you down.
Oh my God. So he wouldn't deal for help and they said, oh, we can't let you in. That's not real effed up. Ain't y'all supposed to be close? But y'all don't want to help him and let him in? Nah, that's like really cold. Like, I hope they got what came to them later on in life. I hope karma hit them good, cause they're just sick.
And then I'm like, no, like, you don't understand, like, I can't I can't even talk.
And you're bloodied and...
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah. And the other person couldn't, and I was like, so I finally got to 183rd and Pioneer by the Jack in the Box, and I collapsed. And they're like, oh my God, help them. Ambulance came and they have to rush me into surgery with an open head wound. I was so angry, I was like fighting because I didn't know what was going on. And
you were probably jacked up.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting. If you saw my face, I had stitches and scars everywhere. I have to show you photos because I post it every year as a reminder to everyone.
Right.
Like this is what I went through, my story.
Yeah.
And it was like I was disfigured and it was disgusting. Broken nose, bruises throughout my whole body.
How old are you?
Stitches. I was 19.
So, have we come to the point where we're deciding to turn our life around yet?
No.
No. So how many more years?
25, I said I wanted to turn my life around after experiencing, I was starting to already, now at 20 to 25, I was relapsing and learning in and out. I got arrested several times, and then I had my third time. I could not reinstate it. It's called Prop 36, and if you don't finish your Prop 36, you're facing 5 years in prison if you don't finish your drug court classes. So 25, when I got out of jail term, I told my mom, turning myself in. We took all my stuff, took it to a storage, and then I did my little bit of time that I had some warrants in that area, just that area. And I got out, I was in a hotel, and then the person I thought I was supposed to come over and give me some drugs, my right-hand guy, and we always did well. He was a little older, Seth, and about 20 years older than me, white guy, and he goes, I'm not here to give you anything. I'm here to tell you that I've been doing meetings and I want to help you. But I didn't know down the line, the reason why I went to jail for a long time is because he gave up my name. So he felt like he owed me a favor, and he told me, confess. And I respected him for telling me, because the others didn't tell me. He at least told me. And I found out, like, okay, I took the rap for him. So, because if he was facing 30 years in prison.
Right.
So I took that because I just didn't want to give up a name.
Right.
It just wasn't.
Right.
So, 25, and then he goes up serving people in Orange County. I was like, oh, so you're doing your research, like, you're ready. And then I called my mom at 6 o'clock in the morning, sun was rising, and said, I'm going to do this. And November 7th, 2007, I went to Spin, did the program, and I walked into a second chance sober living in Westminster. And I stood there for a good 70 months, did my program, got sober. And there were so many tests, so many times, triggers. You got to kind of really pick, do the program, work the steps. Do the therapy, do the work. You got to really deep down inside and heal. And this is the only first time that I ever actually healed and made amends with those that hurt me. I did everything you can imagine to forgive the people in my entire life that hurt me, and I had to forgive myself. Forgiving myself was the biggest thing to accept it and understand that it was not my fault, but I'm going to...
Now, it did take me a while to forgive my daddy, what he did to me, but I forgive him because it made me the person I am today, the strong black American woman, gay, trans, that I am today. So, yeah, I forgive him for what he did to me. He got what came to him. But, yeah, I forgive him. I do, for what he did to me. Because it made me the strong black woman that I am today. So, yeah.
Forgive myself so I can, because I deserve to live a good life.
And people don't realize that when you can't forgive, that's baggage you're going to carry around that you don't need to carry around.
And that is very true. If you can't forgive, you will carry it around forever. If you don't forgive the people that hurt you. If you don't forgive the people that hurt you, you will be carrying it around on your shoulders. So I need to stop moving a lot because my camera keeps jumping. But yeah, this is my new camera that I'm using. So every time I move, it's trying to focus. So that's why I keep jumping. So if you can't forgive yourself, and then you don't really have nothing, you got to forgive yourself to have some. So I had to learn that on my own. So yeah.
It's like people are like, well, how do you forgive and forget? And I'm like, you don't ever forget. You'll remember it forever.
Now, you don't forget what happened to you. Oh, you don't forget the people, or you don't forget the traumas that you went through. Yeah.
Ever. But you have to forgive because you don't want to carry that excess baggage around the rest of your life and just keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. You got to create space in your head for new adventures and new things in life, and not always harbor on what happened in the past.
And there's different stages of grief.
Yes.
Everyone grieves different,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Anger, sadness, and learn to control it. I was already a very emotional person. It's because that's what I was taught growing up. And as an emotional Latino, you guys know this. Latinos are...
Now, I was not emotional. I didn't cry. I didn't talk about my emotions. But when I took therapy and all that, was my emotions came back. And when I hear a sad story now, I do cry and get emotional and stuff. So when my god brother told me about his story, what he was going through, and then I was like, I would get emotional. And then when I went to Florida, then when my emotions all came up in Florida, when I got out there in front of a bunch of people about to talk about my story and what I went through, now I wish I could have surpassed them emotions and talk about it and tell my story when I was up there in Florida in front of a lot of people. But no, I got nervous and I got emotional and I couldn't talk. Yeah, I just broke down. So,
emotional. We go through different stages, and I was very outspoken, but yeah, my intentions were always good, but I was always very direct, very strong, very that person, because I learned that through my family. They were very strong, opinionated, very judgmental. They loved to dress well. They loved the good things in life, so I picked those things up. And, but the forgiveness part, there was one day when I was in halfway home, whatever, and I go to this gay bar, and I look at this man, and he's 6'2", big guy, has a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and it was the man who did everything to me. And I ran into my molester while I was in rehab, and I was like, oh my God, come on, Margot, look, I'm about to catch a case, girl. And she's like, no. I go up to him and I said, do you know who I am?
you know
And he
who
goes,
I
no.
am?
I go, yo soy sobrino. He goes, mi sobrino, el hijo de mi hermano. You're the son of my brother. Forgive me. And he's trying to give me, he had like a bunch of hundreds rolled up and gold. And I was like, I don't want you to go, but may God forgive you for what you did to me and all those boys and people. Because when I found out he was doing it to several families, I decided to open the case. I reopened my case at 25 years old.
Oh, no.
Yep. And I went against the family years later.
See?
This time I had a little bit more backup.
Right.
Went to court, opened up. My cousin, he was working for my aunt who's a doctor. They own a chiropractor. And he goes, George, we need to get him out. My mother's having to pay many people, the families off, and it's losing the company's money. We have three doctor offices.
Yeah.
I opened up the case, contacted Johnny. They're like, yes, he fled the country. We got to prove it, though. This is a chance for my father and everyone to come and back me up.
Yeah.
We're at the courthouse. The attorneys are there. They're like, we're going to get him. So I go, I want to see it. So me and my mom in the car. He tried to run, and they caught him. They put him in jail. He had a bond. The family put up cash $250,000. He was on hold he was in there for 7 days. I called my father. I said, Dad, you say you love me. You want to try to, have my back. This is the time. And he's all the officers who have all of our legal team. Yeah. This is the time. I need you to tell them that because the first thing was fleeing the country, and then it gets into the molestation. Because my uncle already had murdered my grandfather, so that case was already done. He murdered him, and then he came back from Costa Rica because he was like, he always wanted to kill his father. So he killed his father in Costa Rica, came down here.
Oh my God!
And then he goes, I love you, but I can't. And he got out.
Doesn't that just blow your mind?
Girl. Just like
That the family will stick together on certain things, but protecting you was not.
Yeah.
It's not just sad. That's just really sad.
That's what happened, and
That's
you
really
know,
sad.
it's just he had an opportunity, and always had a love and hate relationship. He always treated me a little different, and his way is like, it happened to me, get over it, toughen up, be a man. And he goes, I already have, his two brothers were married to women as well, and he goes, I already had 2 faggot sisters, I don't need another faggot son. The way that he found out about me is when I went to jail. He went through my things, he stayed for a little period of time. And I was like, what? He goes, I'm like, you worry about me being gay? When your brothers did worse to me and your father? Then I decided to learn how to speak up to him and not be afraid of him, because he was very abusive.
Right.
Man.
So that's interesting that you say, you know, it's like they created it, but they didn't want to take ownership.
Oh, never.
Yeah. And so
I tried, I begged my aunts, and they were like, I'm so sorry, they couldn't go up against. But what I want to fast forward, 2 or 3 years ago, my grandmother died. And then 5 days later, my godfather, Richard, he wrote a letter, and he tried for many years. He lost his mind, very successful. He worked for Fox, a part of the union, for 30 years, and he had my back, but they hated him for having my back. He wrote a letter to the FBI. He wrote a letter, and the FBI contacted us because he committed suicide 5 days later. So 2 members in that household died, right? And I went to the funeral. I saw everybody, even all my molesters were all there. I gave my portion. It was 2 funeral in 1. And I faced everyone, and thank God for the support of my ex-husband. I was married for 15 years. We met in the program. George was my strength, my light, my everything. We had each other. Until today, we're still friends, and you know, he's still there. And
so let's back up. So we're going to back up just a hair to somewhere through all of this.
During I was getting help,
and you're getting clean, and you meet someone.
This most beautiful Latino boy named George. I love you so much. I met a George.
You meet someone,
and you didn't like me.
And you're able to trust him.
Yeah.
And fall in love.
Oh yeah, his light, his genuineness,
through everything you've been through.
Yeah, I wanted a healthy relationship. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have family. I wanted to travel. I wanted to have a good life. I just wanted in George, just sweet, educated, handsome, Latino, and he had family oriented, and he loved my family. We created an empire together.
Sir.
We did it. He chose to do law, and I chose to be entrepreneur, and we supported each other. And he was the firstborn of his family, again, in gang-related drug.
I'm so happy that you found somebody that understands you, that supports you, that y'all can get along. Yeah. I'm so happy for you, George, if you're watching this video. So, yeah. I only got a little bit more to go, and then we're going to end it. Oh, God.
Charges we met in joint court school.
Right.
And then we did it together, completed, and we created this beautiful love story. Everybody loved us together. Everybody knew George and George. And
not only did you create this amazing, beautiful love story, but out of all of this, you created Amari magazine.
Yes, we did. Amari, we had a vision, already had started to do entrepreneurs, having a jewelry business, Gorgeous Goddess, and everybody knows about jewelry. And me and George, I worked with a magazine and had Kim Kardashian on cover. And I was like, you know what, I love hosting events, I love to give back to the community, let's create something. So one of the stars on Vanderpump Rules, we created and George and I put together a business plan and a media kit, and from there, I remember writing at a restaurant on a napkin some ideas, and one of my friends was just like, I'll sponsor. I was like, wow, and then all of a sudden, I ended up getting 6 investors, and they all were short-term. And they had my first launch with Lisa Vanderpump in her philanthropy issue, and it just took off. And George and I, and the impact that we were making.
What year was that, you think?
It was May 2016. Yeah, May 2016. So, which is coming up. Look at that, like our
anniversary.
Yeah, anniversary's coming up. And it just took off, and here today. I've worked with some of the most influential people, such as yourself. I get to meet and connect, and we all have a story to share.
And we connected in 2017.
Yes, right,
A year after he launched his magazine, I get to work with you. And we've done stuff back and forth throughout the years. And
now we're in Texas, New York, working on Amare Mexico, and we're also opening up the door for children with talent. Amare 18 gets signed May 15th.
Yes,
so that comes out in October with an amazing business partner, Mario Solis. And it's exciting because I've always wanted, I have children, but I've always wanted to do something for children on a different sense, whether it's talents, kids in the spotlight, kind of give them, look, you can do it. Because there was a big magazine, 17, back in the days, and that's what everybody loved and would have their poster in there, right? The poster in their bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, let me open up to that. So our attorneys are drafting up everything, and I'm excited to do that. And May 30th, we are hosting an amazing event where I may not have got a high school diploma, but on May 30th, I'm receiving an award by the mayor of Downey. He contacted me, Mario Chirulio. He goes, what you done for the city, and an advocate for mental health. San Francisco, Orange County, and the city of Long Beach are all giving me an award that evening in front of everybody, all elected officials and people in business, and so many people coming that evening, and that feels good. I told Mom, I didn't get high school diplomas, but I feel like I'm making it up to little George. Little George is going to appreciate this. This is going to be like part of my healing.
Right.
That one person can go and create this and share. If I can do it, you can do it. For all the little Georges out there and the boys and girls that are going through this, so they're older, do the steps, do the work, do the healing.
And it's like I always say when I actually am speaking to groups of little girls even, you don't have to be your environment. You don't have to stay there. So many kids that are born into poverty and drugs and alcohol and sex abuse and all that stuff. I cut the cycle. You cut the cycle. It's possible.
What is trauma? I got triumphs.
I cut the cycle. Yes, ma'am.
Because everyone's got trauma. Everybody's got horrible, tragic things that happen to them. And just when you think your story's the worst it can be, you can find somebody that's got an even worse story. And I always try to tell people, you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can break the cycle. You can get out. If you want to
rewire your brain,
you can get out and become that doctor, or become that lawyer, or become that successful person. You're sitting here living proof that you don't even have to have a high school diploma to be successful. You just have to want to turn your life around.
I gave my higher power to God.
Yes.
I've never lost my faith in God. God guided me till today. Like, I speak to Him from the moment I wake up to I go to sleep. Thank you every meal. The moment I take my first sip of water, have my cup of coffee. Thank you for allowing me to breathe and be here today, because it's not guaranteed. You never know what could happen. You don't take that for granted. Or people, I try to be as kind as I can. Smile, make someone else happy. Smile, just listen. Because everyone's going through things in life, and if you can be that one person, make a change, make a difference, I'm going to do my best.
Right. You never know when you run into somebody what they're going through right this minute.
You don't. If we can spread a little kindness, it's free. Just do it. It's free.
I used to have a thing where every day I wanted to make sure I made 3 people smile.
That part.
And I always loved it if I was walking down the street and I saw a grumpy person walking towards me. I would do everything humanly possible to make that person smile. Even if they didn't say hi back to me, at least I made them smile.
Even to the haters.
Yeah.
Don't be right, because we're God's favorite.
But I always say that the haters are actually your fans.
You know what? They teach you patience. Not everything deserves
They
a reaction.
do.
And you know what? You watch them from okay, they're there. They're watching. We're doing good.
Yeah. And here's a little message to all the people out there that do social media. Number one, don't read everything.
Yeah.
It gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
People are like, did you see everything that was written about you? No. No. I don't have time.
100%.
Because there's going to be people that say hateful things, do hateful things.
Create.
I could stand on my head, blow bubbles, and cross my eyes, and I'm still not going to be like bad people.
Yeah.
That's just a part of life. And so it is what it is. I'm just like, I just do me. And, I created that T-shirt that if you can't handle what people say about you, then you're not ready for success. And so, you just have to get out there and do you, and just...
Like Kim Kardashian said, get off your ass and work. You know how to do the work. You know, there's so many platforms.
Yeah.
As my company's marketing, advertising, social media, you kind of also have to keep reinventing yourself and
All the time.
reinventing the game.
All the time.
As you're adapting, new things come along, and so but work together, collaborate, and
Just keep
believing
evolving.
in yourself.
And just believe in
yourself. You know, it goes a long way. I would have never thought. I'm not a journalist. But I'm a publisher.
Yeah.
And now I am going worldwide, international, doing all kinds of things, and it's amazing.
So if we had to leave little George with, what would you tell little George?
I love you.
Wow.
I love you.
Yes,
I didn't know what really that was.
Love.
What's that? Love. I didn't, love, but I love you and I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I love you, little George, and I'm proud of you.
Right.
You did it.
Yeah.
I love
So
you,
we want
little
to thank
Nelson.
George Rojas for being our special guest today. Like, this story is deep, and we could literally sit here for hours.
Literally.
And we already have, but we could sit here for hours and just keep bringing up more and more and uncovering more and discovering more.
Theresa will be on our first cover for Hughes' Most Influential. I'm excited for that. We gotta put that out there.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
We love it.
Yes.
And please come back.
Absolutely.
And we'll do another whole segment because there's so much more to the story than you could even uncover in 30 minutes. So, like I said, thank you for being our special guest. And until next time, bye-bye.
So, thank you to George Rojas for sharing your story with the world. So, I would never knew you if Theresa didn't share your story. And then, thank you for sharing your story. So, if anybody else got a story out there to share y'all story and tell y'all story. Share it and share it. Damn, share it and tell it. Yeah, share it and tell it. Hashtag share it and tell it. Tell your story. Tell what you went through as a child. If you a child going through child abuse or molestation, speak up. Speak your truth. Tell people about what you're going through. Yeah. Somebody out there in this world will believe you and trust you. So, I will see y'all in the next video. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for sharing your story, George Rojas. And thank you to Theresa for doing the podcast with it and let him share his story. Love you, bye. Maybe I will be on one of Theresa Roemer's podcasts. I hope, and I'm praying for it, putting out there in the world. So, anyways, I will see y'all in the next video. Love you, bye.